We all love a good curry, butter chicken, tikka masala, pilau rice on the side. So when we're doing our grocery shopping, our eyes land on these £2 ready meals and curry jars, promising just microwave and enjoy. 3 minutes later, your favourite curry is ready. No chopping, no frying spices, no slow simmering, just heat and eat. It feels like a bargain, especially when a proper Indian restaurant curry costs around £20 with rice. Today, I'm exposing the worst UK curry brands you should avoid. Sainsbury's own curry range. Let's talk about Sainsbury's in the detail it deserves, because this is a brand that sells millions of curry ready meals every week across the UK. And the full picture of what's actually in them is something most shoppers have never stopped to consider. Sainsbury's has a broad multi-tier curry range, the standard by Sainsbury's line, the premium Taste the Difference range, and a frozen Indian meals section. Each tier has different quality levels, but even the premium end has serious health concerns worth discussing. Let's go through the most popular products one by one. Chicken tikka masala. By Sainsbury's, meal for one with rice, 400 grams. This is their bestseller and one of the most purchased curry ready meals in the UK. The ingredients list cooked marinated chicken breast at just 18% of the total product, sitting in a sauce of 16% fat cream, tomato paste, sugar, rapeseed oil, and cashew nut. That chicken percentage is shockingly low. You're buying what is essentially a creamy tomato sauce with a modest scattering of chicken folded in. A full serving clocks in at around 528 calories, with the macronutrient split heavily weighted toward carbohydrates from the rice and fat from the cream sauce. One serving contains about 1.94 grams of salt, a huge amount for a single meal. High salt and processed sauces like this can increase blood pressure, spike blood sugar, and cause digestive issues, particularly for seniors. Chicken korma. By Sainsbury's, meal for one with rice, 400 grams, marketed as a mildly spiced curry with marinated chicken breast in a coconut and cashew nut sauce. This one sounds harmless, but do not let the word mild fool you into thinking it is a healthy choice. The ingredient list reveals only 18% chicken content, the same low proportion as the tikka masala. The sauce is built on a base of coconut extract, cashew nut puree, desiccated coconut, creamed coconut, sugar, and rapeseed oil. That is a considerable amount of fat and a surprising amount of sugar for what feels like a savoury dish. The korma is actually one of the most calorie-dense options in the entire range due to the coconut and nut content. For anyone monitoring their cholesterol or watching their calorie intake, the korma's gentle flavour profile is deceptive. This is a high-fat, high-calorie meal dressed up as a mild, inoffensive dinner. Chicken jalfrezi. By Sainsbury's, meal for one with rice, 400 grams. The jalfrezi is often seen as the healthier curry choice because it is tomato-based rather than cream-based, and there is some truth to that. The fat content is lower than the korma or tikka masala. However, a full pack contains around 455 calories, and the salt content remains a concern at approximately 1.81 grams per portion. The tomato-based sauce brings down the saturated fat meaningfully, but the overall meal is still classified as ultra-processed, and the chicken content remains a modest fraction of what the packaging implies. It is the best choice in the standard range from a fat perspective, but still not something you'd call genuinely nutritious. Chicken madras. By Sainsbury's, meal for two, 400 grams. The madras is one of the more interesting products in the range from an ingredients perspective. Sainsbury's own listing shows the sauce contains potato starch and chickpea flour as thickeners. Less commonly seen cheap filler ingredients that push the product further into ultra-processed territory. Tamarind gives it the characteristic sour depth, which is authentic, but yellow split pea flour also appears, another starch used to bulk out the sauce at minimal cost. The heat level is higher, but the salt content is consistent with the rest of the range, elevated and red-labelled. Butter chicken. The butter chicken ingredients list shows 16% fat cream, butter, cashew nuts, and sugar sitting prominently in the sauce. Butter is listed at just 4% of the product, so while the name evokes richness, the actual butter content is minimal, with the creaminess largely coming from the cream base and rapeseed oil instead. This is a classic marketing maneuver, naming a product after an expensive, flavoursome ingredient when that ingredient barely registers in the recipe. The calorie count is high, saturated fat is red-labelled, and the overall nutritional profile is one of the weakest in the entire Sainsbury's curry range. Tesco, budget, own-brand ready meal curries, are where nutritional corners get cut the hardest. And Tesco's entry-level range is a prime example of what happens when price is the overriding consideration at every stage of production. These meals are cheap, filling and convenient. But cheap, filling and convenient can come at a cost that doesn't show up on the price label. Tesco's budget curry ready meals have been flagged repeatedly by nutritionists for being extremely high in salt, often hitting 1.5 to 2 grams per portion, and surprisingly low in actual protein relative to their calorie count. The meat content is frequently minimal, padded out with starchy fillers, modified maize starch, and sauces that are heavily reliant on flavor enhancers like monosodium glutamate. They're classified as ultra-processed foods, and that classification matters. The allergen recall history is also worth noting. Tesco's own brand range has seen several allergen-related recalls over the years, and while no brand is immune to these issues, the frequency raises questions about quality control in the budget manufacturing chain. After ready meals, let's look at the even worse curry brands in jar form across UK supermarkets. Sharwood's curry sauces, the most recognisable curry jar brands in UK supermarkets. Sharwood's offers sauces like tikka masala, korma and jalfrezi for around £2.65 for a 420-gram jar. Typical ingredients include water, tomatoes, cream or yogurt, sugar, modified maize starch, spice blends, rapeseed oil and salt, with acidity regulators such as lactic acid to maintain shelf stability. These starch thickeners and stabilizers help make the sauce smooth and pourable, but they also replace the depth and complexity of spices you'd build by cooking from scratch. Nutritionally, sauces like Sharwood's korma have around 0.69 grams of salt per 100 grams, plus added sugars that contribute empty calories without nutrients. For seniors, or anyone managing high blood pressure or heart health, that salt content can be significant. High sodium intake is linked to increased risk of hypertension and cardiovascular strain. Too much salt can cause fluid retention, stressing the heart and kidneys over time. Meanwhile, the mild spices mean you miss out on flavor compounds like turmeric's curcumin, which may have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant benefits. Eating these processed sauces regularly may satisfy convenience, but it comes with a health trade-off compared with a homemade curry that uses fresh aromatics and whole spices. Kohinoor, slightly cheaper at £1.99 to £2.29 per 375 grams, also relies on water, tomato, coconut or cream, starch, sugar, salt and spice blends. Some jars have salt up to 1.4 grams per 100 grams, making them one of the least healthy options for regular consumption, particularly for seniors concerned with gut health or heart function. The ingredient patterns are almost identical, meaning the shortcuts come at a nutritional cost. Convenience and affordability are tempting, but your body, especially as we age, deserves real flavor and balanced nutrition. So there you have it. UK supermarket curry, ready meals and jar sauces might seem convenient and cheap, but behind the labels, it's mostly salt, sugar, starches. If you love curry, the smarter choices are clear. Either treat yourself at a proper Indian restaurant, paying around £20 for a rich, authentic meal, or cook it yourself using fresh ingredients and whole spices to get the real depth of flavour, without the hidden additives. Next time you reach for that ready meal or jar, remember, convenience comes at a cost, and your body deserves better than a processed shortcut. If you found this video useful, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another expose.